Hey guys, we are going live right now. Not just going live, we are live on the Instagram and YouTube. You know what you're looking at, hopefully. So, if you notice, um, there was not a artist development live stream last week. Um, and the simple reason for that is because I failed to do one. Um, maybe I shouldn't get heavy with a word like failed. Maybe I should say I goofed up and I didn't get it done. I certainly meant to, and I think I mentioned on the last one that I was going to move it to a different time, but then there was a recording session that had to happen, and then I was going to do it on the way to a rehearsal, but that couldn't get sorted out. And I did have a gig Wednesday night. I won't normally have gigs on Wednesday night, but I did this week, and so I couldn't do the stream. I thought maybe I'd do it um, in between sound check and the show, but then sound check went forever, and it went right up to the show. Long story short, I done goofed up, and I didn't get it done. And that's what I wanted to start talking about. It's something that I find I run into a lot with people I work with on artist development, and that is dealing with uh, feeling like you done goofed up or you didn't get something done that you promised yourself you would get done, or any number of those potentially negative things. Um, I would say the number one piece of advice I have for people, and I meant to do the live stream, I really did mean to do it, and I didn't get it done. But you know what I'm not going to do? I am not going to beat myself up about it. I'm not going to waste any of my time and energy in feeling bad about something I didn't get done. That is just not a good use of your time, use of your energy. It happens to all of us. And the best thing you can do is maybe take a lesson, about what you can do better later. But my number one piece of advice, and this is to everybody, and this is an official uh, this is official coach advice. Do not beat yourself up. You know, you do have to find your drive, and you have to push, and you have to work hard. But I guess my message is being down on yourself about not getting something done or not getting something done all week or not, and we're going to talk some productivity things as we go along here. But I just want to underline, guys, it's not productive to be down on yourself. Chalk it up as a lesson. Look at maybe why you didn't get it done or what you could have done better or whatever. Um, I think that ability to keep going and not waste that energy is really one of the most valuable skills. I've talked about something similar before, but as I have a mistake you guys all know about, um, I thought I'd talk about the personal side of that. Now, um, again, you do need to find the drive, but I would also plant this seed for you. If you're having trouble being productive, or you're productive, but you're not as productive as you want to be, I'll plant this seed for you. That feeling bad about it and beating yourself up or whatever it is to when you don't get something done or maybe a performance doesn't go, actually that can make you much less likely to try again. You'll say, oh, well, I'm going to write a song today, and you don't wind up getting that song written. By the way, songs take longer than a day to write very often, but anyway, let's use that as an example. I'm going to write a song today. You don't wind up writing that song today. So you just feel bad about yourself, and you feel like, oh, I failed, and I feel bad about myself. Um, and then the next day, you'll be like, oh, well, I'll just write a song tomorrow. And then you will be less inclined to write it, because then you will be like, if I don't get that thing done that I said I was going to get done, then I'll feel bad. So I'm just sort of not even going to try. Right. You can really get yourself in a place where days and weeks go by that you have not done productive work on your music and your career and all of those things because of avoiding, that feeling of feeling bad about it. And in fact, to widen out a little bit, I know singers a lot of times, or musicians of any type, um, who will completely flail a song because they made one mistake, and then they can't stop feeling bad about that one note they sang not perfect in the first verse. And then in the chorus, they're still thinking about that one bad note. Next verse, they're still thinking about that one bad note. And the performance just gets worse and worse because they just won't let go of, that one thing that didn't go as well as you want it to go. And so I would encourage all of you to work on, I don't know how you want to think of it, forgiving yourself, letting it go, saying, F it. I haven't decided if I'm going to curse on this thing yet. Whatever it is, find your thing. I just want to underline how dumb it is to, and yeah, I just called you dumb. It's dumb to let beating yourself up get in the way of getting better, moving on, all of those things, right? So, and I know I talk about this all the time. So who knows, where I talked about, but man, I have just gotten to where there's a part of me that loves it when stuff doesn't go great, or I make a mistake on the guitar, or I make a mistake in the show, or Adrian and I make set lists a lot, and sometimes, you thought the set was going to work just perfect and it didn't. And rather than feeling bad about it, I always look at that as like, what? Okay, awesome. Now we can learn something. There's very little to be learned from something going exactly the way you wanted it to go. I say it all the time. You've probably heard me say it before. When things don't go the way we want, like me not getting the live stream done, now I have a chance to look at what can I do to plan better? What can I do to be more defensive about my time? What can I do to, not simply overbook myself? Is it going to work every time? Am I going to need to relearn these lessons? Yeah, I'm going to have to relearn these lessons, and it's fine, dude. It's totally fine. So speaking of that, I wanted to talk about, just in general, maybe productivity and how to keep going in this whole thing, because all of us, and it's a real mistake to think that professionals and um, famous people and all this stuff always feel great about what they're doing. I'm sure, just like all of us, they have days where you just don't feel like doing it. I mean, think about whatever your job is. You may love your job. There are days you don't feel like going in. Um, and even with music, that will happen sometimes. We love music. You love it. It's your favorite thing to do. But some days you're just not going to feel it. So let's talk about what to do when we don't feel productive, what to do when we just don't feel like doing it, and what to do when we don't know what to do. That's another thing that can happen, is like you can feel like, I just don't know what to do next. So let's talk about some of those things, and I'm going to be really broad. And if anybody comments, I can either talk about it now, or I can talk about it. If you watch this later, you can comment. I'll address it in a future video if you have specific things. I'm just going broad strokes. So yeah, what to do when you don't feel productive? What do you do when you just don't feel like doing it? Or what do you do when you don't know what to do? Really, the number one thing that I can share with you is to remember that anything is progress. Literally anything you do that is working on your music and your music career is progress. It is very easy to be like, I didn't write 10 songs today, or I didn't write 10 booking emails, or I didn't, um, literally anything is progress. If you can't do anything else, just think about it. You know what I mean? Even just thinking about it is better than not thinking about it. Um, you know, I I mean, what's more productive? You did literally nothing, or you at least thought for a few minutes about your stage performance, or you thought for a few minutes about what kind of songs you would like to write, or you thought for a few minutes about, chord progressions, whatever. Um, yeah. So that said, also don't beat yourself up. If you take a day off, if you take a week off, if that's what you need to do, absolutely do that. You could, for example, just if you just aren't feeling it, watch some YouTube videos of people that you like. You're gonna learn stuff from watching their performances. Listen to other music. We're gonna put this in a different category in a minute. But just anything you do related to music is progress. Take out your gig bag and reorganize stuff. Great. You accomplished something today. Pat yourself on the back. You're awesome. If you just can't do anything, think about it. If thinking about it seems too heavy, cool, man. You're still great. Pat yourself on the back. You'll get them next time. Um, the kind of related to that, maybe just a different way to say it, but uh, give yourself permission to take baby steps. It is not necessary that you take huge strides. And in fact, I would argue that most things are not accomplished with huge strides. They are accomplished with baby steps. Baby steps are still steps. Like I said, anything's progress. If you're even taking one baby step a day, you're still moving forward. Pat yourself on the back. You're great. I think there's this danger in thinking of, um, well, if I'm not going to finish a task, if I'm not going to finish writing a song, why even start? If I don't have enough time to fully practice my entire show, why even start? If I don't have enough time to whatever, why even start? If I'm so tired, I know I'm not going to do a great job, why even start? And that's the wrong way to think. The right way to think is anything you do is great. I will share with you one thing I personally do, because it happens to me all the time, that there are things I don't want to do. Maybe it's learning a bunch of songs that I just don't feel like it today. Maybe it's mixes I need to finish. Maybe it's production stuff I'm doing. Any of those things. Um, oftentimes, and oftentimes when I don't want to do something, as long as I've been doing it, sometimes what's getting in my way is like fear. I feel like I'm not doing a great job on that. So I don't even want to open it and work on it because I don't feel like I'm doing that great a job. And blah, it's so easy to get down on yourself and stop yourself from doing stuff. My trick, I put 5 minutes on the timer on my phone and I just say, I'm going to open up whatever it is and I'm going to work on it for 5 minutes. And when that timer rings, I can walk away. Or I often find if I just give myself the bar that all I'm going to do is put 5 minutes into writing. Um, maybe I'm going to work on one of my songs. I'm going to put 5 minutes on it. If I can make a few words better, whatever it is. And then all I got to do is 5 minutes. Timer goes off. If I feel like quitting, I quit. If I, what happens is I start getting into it. That 5 minutes gets me in the headspace, and then I might wind up putting in that full hour. But I didn't put some big heavy thing on myself that you better work on this for an hour. I said 5 minutes on the timer. Make your decision when that timer goes off. If you want to walk away, great. If you're feeling into it, keep going till you're not into it, right? Other days, sure, you're going to be super inspired. You're going to be just on fire and you're going to want to do nothing but work on your stuff. That's not going to be every day. There's nothing wrong with you if you have days or weeks or months where you're just not feeling the grind. That is okay. That's when we start doing all these things I'm talking about just being kind to ourselves, letting ourselves do little bits, letting ourselves do just whatever little things we can do to keep some momentum going, keep something happening. Is the number one thing. Yeah, so give yourself permission to take baby steps, if nothing else. Um, Lastly, let's talk about uh, well, I'll circle back to, you know, I want to underline what to do when you don't know what to do. But we talked about it, but I just want to put a point on that in a second. But first, let's talk about how do we find inspiration when we are not feeling inspired? As we all know, that's going to happen sometimes. Maybe I am desperately passionate about making a career in music, and some days I just don't feel like it. Well, I would encourage you to try to do stuff anyway. And let's talk how to find some inspiration in that stuff. Um, Number one, watch and listen to other music. And I would encourage some quick scrolling on this. When you're trying to find that inspiration, click on a video, Spotify, whatever. If a song's not doing it, move on. If a song's not doing it, move on. If a song's not doing it, move on. Um, Watch live stuff, but similarly, man, if it's not moving you today, move on until you find something that starts going, oh man, that's awesome. I would love to do that. Um, or listen slowly, or listen to records that were your favorite records when you were a kid. Whatever it is, watch and listen to other people's music to try to find that fire and desire to do it, right? Number two, take in some art that is not music. It is absolutely productive to watch a great movie, watch a maybe a great documentary, go to an art museum, look at some art on your computer, some visual art, some paintings and stuff. Uh, I will share. Adrian and I make an effort to do that, to go and see stuff. Sometimes we're not going every week, but it's a real recharge to go watch something that isn't music done really well. And it could be anything, man. It could be Cirque du Soleil. Oh, Michael, great. Great comment, man. Thank you. Yeah, watching live music. Yeah. But yeah, even if you go see uh even if you go see Cirque du Soleil, even if you go see comedy, you're just seeing somebody else kick ass at something. And that can sometimes light a fire where, like, yeah, they're not a musician, but they're so good. And is it, can you imagine being that good? Or what are they doing that's so good about that? This is number three is Michael's point. Go see a live show, live music show, any show. Even if you don't like it, it can be really productive to see a show where maybe you don't like it. Analyze what you don't like. Think about what you didn't like about it. I mean, no need to be mean about it, but you can just go see people do it live. If it's not doing it for you, think about what isn't doing it for you. Think about what you would do differently, or maybe they're doing an awesome job, and just enjoy it and get the fire to be like, oh man, I want to be that. I wish I was following that band. Um, yeah. Number four, we're talking finding inspiration here. Number four is steal. Um, and what I mean by that is copy some other people's stuff. Um, if you're looking for inspiration, we're talking about finding um, that desire to really do it, and that fire, and it'll be easy again because we really want to do it. Take a song that you absolutely love and write your own version of it, right? Maybe you can take print out the lyrics and just take the way, oh, they had 4 lines and then 2 lines for the pre-chorus and then 4 lines on the chorus, and I'm just going to write different words, but I'm going to write it to their structure. Or hey, maybe I can find an instrumental of that song, and I'm going to write my own words to their melody and stuff, right? You know what I mean? Um, are we going to use these songs that we're stealing later? No, probably not. We're stealing. But what we can do is give ourselves ideas. Um, we can by intentionally ripping somebody else's thing off, writing a different version of it. Maybe I'm going to write the emotion. Like, I love the emotion in this song. I'm going to use all the emotion in their song, but I'm going to write my song. it just sort of lets us live in this stuff we love. And again, it can be a way to find inspiration. Um, it's a great way to learn how to write songs, obviously, but it's also a great way to just kickstart yourself, give yourself some of your own ideas, give yourself some of those feelings. And number 5, how to find inspiration: put down the music and just go outside. It sounds dumb. So many of the things I say sound so dumb and obvious. But I'm just giving you permission. Sometimes the very best thing you can do is put it down and go for a walk, or, you know, drive and get a big gulp from 7-Eleven. I don't know what your thing you enjoy doing. It's fine to just stop banging your head against a wall. Because if you've tried all these other things and you're still not feeling it, you know what? Chalk it up to it's just not your day, and you'll get them next time. So yeah, talking about circling back on when we don't know what to do. We've already talked about them, but I'm only pointing this out because I feel like I talk to people weekly doing artist development, and very often people are like, "Oh, I was really wanted to, I was feeling it, but I just didn't know what to do, and like I couldn't really write, but I was just um, and they wind up sort of not getting very much done that week, which is fine. But let's use all of these things we talked about is what to do when you're like, I don't know what to do next. Listening to music, watching live shows on the YouTube or going to shows, looking at other art. I'm circling back to what I said at the top. Anything you do is progress. So when you don't know what to do, just do something. Just pick anything. I know it sounds so simplistic, but just remember me saying it. Just do anything. It doesn't have to be productive, quote unquote. It doesn't have to be productive, quote unquote. It's just doing something. So I'm going to bullet point this one. I want to thank everybody who's been watching and paying attention and commenting. Thank you guys so much for supporting this. Unless somebody weighs in on a question for next time, I think what I'm going to do is do a breakdown of what I call the 5 steps of making a record. Or perhaps we'll do the 3 steps of writing a song, or the 3 parts of making a song. Writing is only one part of that. Or we'll do both. That's just my plan. You guys comment. You guys tell me whatever you want. I'm going to bullet point it. Number 1, whatever happens, do not waste time beating yourself up. Do not waste time feeling bad about yourself because something did not go as good as you wanted, or because you just didn't wind up getting something done. It is a waste of time to feel bad about that. Number 2, anything is progress. Underline this in your brain. Anything you can get yourself to do is progress. Maybe it's just picking up the guitar and playing one song one time. That is better than playing 0 songs 0 times, right? When you are not feeling it, or I don't want to get into whatever, but if you're depressed or whatever's going on in your life, just tell yourself, I'm gonna put 5 minutes on the timer on my phone. I'm gonna play a song. I'm gonna write lyrics. I'm gonna do whatever, but all I have to do is 5 minutes. Anything is progress. I am officially giving you permission to take baby steps. Yeah, and find inspiration in other stuff. Watch and listen and all those things. So sorry if I was circular this time, but anyway, I appreciate you guys so much. I'm going to jump off, and I will be back next week. Again, please comment with any questions or thoughts, anything, suggestions, any of those things. I just really appreciate you guys sharing this time with me, and I will see you next week.